Hey everyone, this is how to read the periodic table part 2. So in the video that I had posted earlier for part 1, I had just briefly gone over what the difference is between the periods, which if you'll remember are our rows going across, or the boxes, okay? And then our groups or families that are going up and down. So if you'll notice on this version of the periodic table, it actually does not have the group numbers, and that's okay because I don't think we'll have the time this year to really go into that. But if we were in school, we would be talking more about that stuff, all right? Groups and the family slash, and then what's the difference between the periods. For this video, I just want to talk briefly about how to figure out protons, neutrons, and electrons. So if you look back at my other YouTube video where I talk about protons, neutrons, and electrons, what are they? And then the atomic model of an atom. If you haven't done that, please make sure you look back at that video to help you better understand this. Every atom, any element, all right, is contained of a nucleus in which it houses the protons and the neutrons. Remember, your protons are positively charged, your neutrons are neutral, all right? Orbiting around your nucleus are electrons. Those are negatively charged. Now, the secret and the key into figuring out where your protons, how many protons, neutrons, and electrons you'll have in any element is by looking at the atomic number and the mass. All right. So if you can, and that's why if you don't know how to round to the nearest whole number, this might be a little tricky for you. So there is just like some of that, elementary math skills that are there. All right. So for example, we'll go start with the first element of hydrogen. Hydrogen has how many protons? You have to look at the atomic number, right? So remember, the number of protons and electrons are the same. So in any element, you look at its atomic number. That atomic number will tell you how many protons and how many electrons that element has, and that will always be the same, okay? However, the neutrons is what you need to use, the atomic mass. You subtract the atomic mass that you rounded up, subtract it from the atomic number. All right, so I know it's a little confusing. If I had a whiteboard, I would be able to show you a little better, but I'm just going to do, the easy one. I'm not going to make this a long video. So let's take a look at helium. Helium, how many protons does it have? Well, for protons, I need to look at the atomic number. What's the atomic number for helium? 2. That means helium has 2 protons in its nucleus. How about electrons? Okay, I'm going to stick with electrons because it's easy, right? Electrons, 2 electrons, because it's the atomic number. It's the same number of protons. The electrons are orbiting around the nucleus. Now, again, nucleus has the protons and neutrons. Now we're trying to figure out the neutrons. This is where it gets a little tricky. Well, it's not really that tricky. You just have to remember that for the neutrons, you have to take the atomic mass, you round it up to the nearest whole number, you subtract that number from the atomic number. So helium, let's do this together. Neutrons, I'm trying to figure out the number of neutrons in helium. 4.00, whatever, right? Round that up to the nearest whole number, the atomic mass is 4. So I'm going to take that number 4, subtract it from the atomic number 2, and that is how many neutrons are in the nucleus of helium. So 4 minus 2, 2. Okay, so in this case, helium, helium, it has equal number. Protons, 2. Neutrons, 2. Electrons, 2. Is that the same for all of them? No. Okay, and you'll see with the case of lithium, for example, how many protons? I look at the atomic number, 3. Okay, 3 protons. How many electrons? Same thing. I got to look at the atomic number, and the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, basically, if that also helps you figure it out. So electrons, 3 in lithium. Now, what about the neutrons? Do you see the atomic mass? It's it's a little blurry on my end, 6.9 something, right? I'm going to round that up to the nearest whole number being 7. So what are you supposed to do to figure out the neutrons now? What two numbers do you subtract? You should be subtracting that atomic mass that was rounded to the nearest whole number, 7, minus the atomic number for lithium, 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 neutrons for lithium. So, protons in lithium, any atom of lithium, one atom of lithium has 3 protons, 4 neutrons, and 3 electrons. All right? I'm going to try it. I'm going to have you guys practice this on the Google form. But I'm just going to keep it very, very simple. All right? Cool beans.